Okay, so if your body is even saying, "Oh, I feel like, going into legs on a chair might be something that is resonating for you," you might do that. The other option that might come in for you, I'm giving you quite a few options just because we have a few different things going on for bodies today and mine, is you might even take one of your blocks. Some of you have an inflated purple ball or a Pilates ball. We call them slow-mo balls. Hey, and you might take your strap and place it around the thighs and loop it. I'm just grabbing something for my head and then squeezing the strap, or sorry, squeezing the block or the ball and having yourself gently tighten the strap to a place that feels good where your legs can relax into the strap. And since I'm here, I'm going to stay here, but you might also be in a heart bed position, okay, where you're taking, I thought I would just demonstrate it just to make sure, your block, having your bolster supported on the upper part of the bolster. And then some of you might check in, do I need a little support underneath my pelvis? So I tried to bring different color props that offset from my clothing so that you can have awareness of what I'm demonstrating. I also have red socks on. And as you land here, just take a moment to ask body, does it need anything to start? So once you land, my body's saying, oh, move your pelvis a little bit from left to right to allow the legs to wiper. Some of you might want to draw the legs into the chest and give them a hug. Good, just watching over you. You might even feel, and I'll sit up for this one so you can see it and don't have to strain, is you might interlace your fingers a little bit on the floor so the palms are facing you, and then press up towards the ceiling and then just let them release overhead. And here's where I want you to notice the ribs. So sometimes the back of the rib cage pulls away from the floor and the front of the rib cage flares open. So I want you to do a little SH breath as you bring your arms down towards your heart a little bit. SH breath, gather the ribs, the front ribs together, and lower them down to connect to the lower abdomen. And then let your arms float up without letting the front rib cage flare. And so you might do this release of exhaling up overhead and then inhaling. And when your arms come back and your palms face the heart, and then as you exhale, you can push the palms up to face the ceiling. And this is when you want to bring in an exhalation. I know it's a little bit kind of against sometimes when we reach our arms up, we inhale, but as you exhale, you can feel your front rib cage gathering in and reaching down towards your navel and lower belly. And the back of the rib cage is staying on the floor or the bolster. And then you can inhale Allow the arms to sweep down, palms come towards the heart, and then exhale, pressing out and up. Just creating some length. Some of you might even feel that exhalation of, if you think of your pubic bone at the very front of your pelvis, if you exhale and think of the ribs gathering in and down and lifting your pubic bone up, you'll feel your transverse abdominis come together and connect the lower body and the middle and the upper body. When you feel ready, you'll let your body just find some stillness. So if you have any tension in the inner thighs and you feel like you want to release the inner thighs, you can bring your soles of your feet together and allow the legs to come out to the side. My body is asking me to go into this, so I'm just going to offer a little support of my blocks just on the outer thigh. If you bring the blocks closest to your hips, there's more support, and farther away, there's less support. And taking a moment as you sink into stillness, allowing the palms to face up and the arms to slide away from the body. So if we have our arms really close to the torso, you can even just bring your arms really close to the torso. So your pinkies are coming close to the side body and the hips. And just notice how that feels across your collarbones, across the heart. And then let your arms slide away from the body, maybe 2 or 3 feet away. Palms are up. Checking in with your nervous system and asking body, does it feel okay? Does it feel safe to close your eyes? Sometimes the nervous system wants the eyes to just soften a little bit and stay open to locate the environment. And as you become aware of your exhalation, I just want you to feel your body in space. So just locating and landing. So coming into our proprioception to start. And each time you exhale, the body can invite in this invitation of becoming heavy, finding earth support, your props, the ground, your mat. And then as you allow yourself to open and receive the inhalation, notice how your body is responding to the inhale. Is there an expansion? Can you feel your diaphragm releasing down, contracting? Can you notice that abdomen opening, the rib cage, the collarbones being wide, shoulder blades wide? And then that exhale, as the diaphragm relaxes back up below the lungs, we feel this heaviness, the belly deflates. You might even notice the pubic bone lifting up towards the belly button, and that will draw the lower belly in, lengthen the lower back. You might feel the ribs gather, an SH breath coming in. Inviting in the inhalation, allowing yourself to be open to receive. And then that exhale, grounding into the earth support for safety and stability, and connecting with body. Feeling the parts of your body, your feet, the legs, the pelvis becoming heavy. And as the lower body starts to find the earth, we can start to notice, how does the lower back feel? There might be a slight curve away from the floor. Let the rib cage, especially the back of the ribs, releasing into earth. Each exhale, feeling your right shoulder blade and your left shoulder blade. Can you notice the evenness between them? Is one a little bit heavier than the other? And then that space in between the shoulder blades, the back door of the heart. Just allow yourself to soften and widen that space. So we're keeping the back door, the heart, open. And if you feel at ease to travel inside to rest around the heart muscle, allowing the body to infuse with love and safety, feeling that expansion percolate through the body and touch the front of the chest. Notice the collarbones wide. And so our collarbones are there to help keep the spaciousness in the front of the chest. Relaxing the shoulders down into the bottom of the shoulder socket, so the glenoid. And this is really important as we go into shoulder movements, when we start loading and putting weight on the shoulders and asking the shoulders to become our base support, that we want to allow the shoulders to drop down into the base of the joint. So it's deeper at the base of this pear-shaped joint and more shallow in the upper part of the joint. And our shoulders, if we have a lot of tension in the upper chest, will start to want to lift up. We're going to bring our arms up for a moment and just touch the hands together in the air and allow the elbows to bend. We're just going to do a few movements in the body just to open side body. So some of you know this from the repair series, the fascial release. And so as we exhale, we're going to allow the arms to extend overhead. I want you to feel that SH breath as the ribs gather in the front body and lower down. And the arms extend so the fingers are pointing just very softly diagonally to the wall behind you. And see if you can take a few breaths here and just draw the shoulders down to the bottom of the sockets and widen the collarbones. And then as you inhale, bringing your hands back over heart center. Good. So you're going to extend the arms overhead. The fingers are going to reach towards the wall behind you. So if you are in a heart bed like me, you're going to be at a little bit of a 45. Pause there for a few breaths, draw the shoulders down into the bottom of the sockets. Widen the collarbones. Inhale back and just do a couple times. We're just nourishing the diaphragm, the side of the rib cage, the psoas muscle. Extending the arms, feeling the rib cage gently gather. SH breath if you want. And next time we come to heart center, we're going to reach the arms up. So fingers point to the ceiling, and then you're going to create a little space in between the palm of the hand. So just the thumb, the pads of the thumb, index, middle ring, pinky are touching, and they're gently leaning evenly into each other. And the palm of the hand is open, as if you're holding a globe or a precious gem in between the hands. Relax the shoulders down. And then you're going to allow this exhalation, the arms to release down towards the legs. You're going to inhale as the arms come up, fingers point towards the ceiling. And then as you exhale, feel that SH breath, that gathering of the ribs, them reaching down towards the lower body. And try not to go too far. Just going to go back and forth. The eyes may be closed, or you may very softly receive the gaze of the hands, or gently looking past the arms to the ceiling. This is nourishing the whole thoracic spine. So just wanting to get a little bit of slide and glide in the fascia after we've slept. And maybe the body hasn't moved as much. The fascia is a little bit more sticky and dehydrated. So just wanting to offer a little movement here. And just noticing that you can allow the elbows to bend a little bit more if needed. And then when you're ready, just letting the arms release down by your side, a little bit away from the body. And we're just going to open the palms of the hands so the back of the fingers come towards the mat. And let the thumb reach too, and just feel an open palm of the hand. And just take a moment after kind of hydrating the fascia, moving through the slide and glide that comes into the superficial fascia under the skin. As we reach the fingers back, you might start to notice an opening coming through the wrist, the palm of the hand, the forearm. Let the elbows become heavy onto the floor. Feel the upper arm, the chest, the shoulder blades. And then just let the fingers soften and just notice how they just gently move away from the floor, but the palm of the hand might be a little bit more open. So it's a really good technique to notice this myofascial connection through the muscles in the fascia from the hands to the shoulder blades and the shoulder blades through the arms to the hands. So you can do it one more time, just reaching the back of the fingers and the thumbs, the nails towards the floor, and just notice which ones touch, which ones maybe have a little bit of holding. Take a few breaths there and then soften. And notice where your hands soften to. What happens when the elbows become a little bit heavier? Okay, we're just going to take a couple more breaths. And after you've taken a few more breaths, you're going to let your body start to move and lengthen and stretch a little bit and come out of your opening place of being. If you were in heart bed like me, you'll move your bolster off to the side once you roll over to the side body, and you'll draw your legs in towards the chest, removing your strap, just giving the body a hug here. Wonderful. Yeah, good. Just checking in with all of you. Okay, so you're going to take your 4-inch block and place it in between the thighs, and we're going to have the arms out to the side, palms down. Beautiful. We're going to do a little bit of core work to get into the deep front line. So I want you to feel your feet. I want you to pick up your toes and spread them as they're in the air. And feel that upper transverse arch below the metatarsals of all the toes. See if you can feel that transverse arch leaning into the floor. And then gently reach through the toes and place each pad of the toe onto the mat. And as you inhale, exhale, you're going to gently root the feet into the floor. Squeeze that block. Notice pubic bone gently lifting up as the lower belly draws in. Your sit bones widening, reaching towards your heels. And then soften and release that. And then we're going to do that a couple more times. Exhale, rooting the feet into the floor, squeezing the block, almost feeling like you can lift the block up into the pelvis, feeling that your pubic bone lift up, draw in of the lower belly, letting your sit bones widen and reach towards your heels. You might even bring in an S breath, which helps to connect into the pelvic floor. And as you inhale, soften. And again, as you exhale, rooting the feet, all the pads of the toes, the back of the heel, the inner heel, the outer heel, into the floor, gently squeezing the block. You might even feel, imagine that you're lifting the block up towards your pelvic floor. You might feel the lower belly draw in, that pubic bone lifting, widening the sit bones as they reach towards the back of the calves. Feel that S sound if you want, or bringing in that SH sound. And the SH sound connects to the upper transverse abdominis, this upper ribs. Soften and try it one more time. And you might even feel, oh, as I root the feet, squeeze the block, gently lifting the block up towards the pelvic floor. Lower belly draws in, S sound or SH sound. Some of you may even find it helpful to bring the hands into a soft, very soft fist. And then opening the palms of the hands up as you inhale, you soften the squeeze. And then one last time, drawing it in. Good. And then as we release, we're going to allow this to support us, this gathering in, as we bring the legs up towards us. So knees stay bent, thighs come towards the torso. Okay, arms can be out to the side. You can have palms down. And if you have, I'm just using like a pillow as well. Some of you might find having something in between the feet and something in between the inner thighs helpful. So I've got a pillow that I'm squeezing in between the sides of my feet, the heels. Some of you may have a chip bone block. And you're trying to move through this motion with the pelvis leading. So we're just going into some twists just to activate the deep front line. So we're going to exhale and allow the pelvis to release to the right as the legs come to the right. And if you lift up through the pubic bone, lifting the block up, you might find the legs lift up a tiny bit, head can move to the right. When you inhale through center, legs and head come into center, and then exhale, gently squeezing the block, maybe that S sound, that SH sound. Head can move to the left as well. Inhale through center. Exhale, moving into a twist. And just feeling the lower body first, just connecting lower body. Just flowing from left to right. And then to see how the legs and the feet are connected to the pelvis, as you exhale to the right, I want you to squeeze the ball, squeeze the block, lift up through the lower belly, and see if you can extend your shin and your feet in the air, almost like you're kicking a ball. Yeah, and see, how do my feet look in space? Can you hold this here for a moment? Do you feel that your feet are connected? There's a reaching through your toes, reaching through your heels, and then you bend the knees, shins, and feet. Bend, inhale through center, and then exhale, extending. And can you feel a little reaching out the top of your head and your ears to the wall behind you to bring the whole body in? So through the deep front line, as you go from side to side, relaxing the shoulders. Keep squeezing the block if you have it in between the feet. It's really helpful. Yeah, good. And take a moment once you're ready to pause. Just going to complete on the other side. And then you can take your block out in between the feet and just take a moment to see how you feel. And we're going to do a little release on the torso. And so you are going to have your block still in between the thighs. Excuse me. And you're using the strap. And I'm going to come a little bit closer so you can see this. And so I've just got part of the strap. So I call this kind of like the tail end of the strap. So it's facing down towards my legs. And you can put your hands in between the strap. And so for me, I'm going to just widen it a little bit more for me because I've got pretty broad shoulders. So I want to feel when I press out into the strap that I've got an openness across the chest. You can see how the fingers are nice and relaxed inside of the strap, and I'm leaning the back of the hands in. And so you should be able to find this place where you can lean the back of the hands into the strap and notice, okay, this feels supportive for me. And I can move here and I can feel a widening through the chest. So we're just starting to support the chest a little bit more and support and get this ready for our inversions. So the tail end of your strap is facing towards the legs. Hey, your arms are reaching out, leaning the back of the hands into the strap. The feet are hip width apart. So we're just going to go into a little bridge flow. Check in with your head. So if you have any sort of support behind the head, you do want to take it out. Just do a little nodding of yes and no. Just to try to see, okay, can I keep a spaciousness through the inside of the throat? Maybe even feel the back of the neck widening. And then as your strap just touches your thighs, you're going to root into the feet, squeeze the block. Feel like you're pulling the block up towards the pelvic floor. You might find that lower belly lifting, the pubic bone lifting, the sit bones widening and lengthening. Then you're going to inhale and you're going to bring the fingers up to point towards the ceiling, leaning out into the strap. And then you're going to exhale overhead. Now, I only want you to come so far that you're not lifting your back ribs off the floor. When you get here, notice what it feels like to draw your shoulders up out of the sockets. And notice what it feels like to draw the shoulders down into the base of the socket. And then see if you can find that base of the socket. Keep leaning the hands out into the strap. This is helping to bring in our serratus anterior muscle. And then the arms come inhaling up and back down towards the legs as we exhale. So you're going to press feet, squeeze the block, lift the block up to the lower belly, lean the hands out into the strap as they inhale up and exhale overhead. Don't worry about touching the floor. My arms are and side body are feeling like they want to stay off the floor. So just do a couple more times, just moving the arms, but feeling the feet. And sometimes you might even feel as you root the feet and you lift the block up towards the pelvis, lift the pubic bone, you might notice, my sit bones are reaching towards my shins and my pelvis is just floating up a little bit off the floor. And the chin is releasing down towards the throat, lengthening up through the ears and the top of the head. And flowing up and down, lowering arms and pelvis down. So just bringing the pelvis in only if you want to, you don't have to. This is a little inversion. Okay, so if you're feeling any pressure in the head and this is not feeling good, you keep your pelvis on the floor. You can do this whole flow without lifting the pelvis in the air. And then one more time, inhaling up and over, maybe rooting the feet, pulling the block up, lifting the lower belly, sit bones reaching towards the floor, towards your shins, maybe the pelvis lifting. And then as you start to float down and lower the pelvis, lift the arms up. I want you now to just lift the arms up, inhale. So the fingers point towards the ceiling, leaning the back of the hands out into the strap, pressing the feet into the floor. Be feeling, if you want, the block lifting, the lower belly lifting up, the sit bones widening and feeling those sit bones reaching towards your shins and then lowering the elbows down towards the floor and keep leaning out the back of the hands into the strap. Feel the widening of the collarbones, heavy elbows. So as you root the elbows into the floor, root the feet into the floor, and just feel your bridge pose. Can you notice a spaciousness coming through? Is there an easeful breath? Eyes soft, armpits spacious. Wiggle the fingers and the thumb. Okay, this is a really good check-in as you lower down. Release the strap, release the block, draw the legs into the chest. So when we put our triceps down on the floor and the elbows, it's a really good check-in because if we can keep a spacious chest and a spacious heart, we can notice, okay, my body's ready to go up into deeper inversions, or maybe just staying in milder inversions is where we need to be, or where our students need to be if they're having a hard time finding space in bridge pose in the chest and the shoulders aren't anchoring to the floor. Just circle a little bit through the legs. Exhale towards you, inhale away. And go the opposite direction. Good. So we're going to come up and do a little bit of work in cat-cow. So you're going to roll over to the side. And take off my socks for this one. So when you're in cat-cow, this is when your two blocks might come in for you. So I'm going to give you a couple options here. So some of you might feel okay by spreading the hands, widening them, having the hands stuck under the shoulder, and noticing, okay, this hyper extension feels okay for my wrist. If not, you might sense, oh, I want to come down onto my forearms, have my elbows underneath the shoulders, planting the elbows into the floor and reaching through the fingers. And then the other option is some of you might even try, oh, what does it feel like to have my hands on a block or the forearms on a block? And if you have the hands on a block, spread the fingers so you're feeling the thumb and the pinky kind of reach towards the sides of the block. Some of you have those books that you're using. Press the pads of the fingers a little bit more into the floor. Notice your index and your thumb leaning into the floor a little bit more, which is going to help to support the arms, especially coming into the tibia bone of the forearm, which is bigger and stronger. If we focus more of our weight on our middle, our ring, and our pinky, we're going more to the fibula bone, which is a little bit more dainty, and it kind of drops us into the wrist. So feel the index and the thumb rooting into the floor if you're using it. And then you're going to start with the exhale. So starting from the power of the pelvis, reaching down, keep your sit bones wide, going into a posterior tilt as the back rounds up. Let the movement trickle through the lower body, the lumbar, the thoracic body, the neck and the head. And then start from the pelvis again when you go into extension. Trying to notice that you're not letting the ribs kind of pucker too far forward, that you're still keeping a little connection, and try not to lift your gaze too high so that you feel the back of the neck widen. And you're just going to go back and forth, and I want you to go slow, and noticing your breath supporting you. And then you're going to pause when you feel ready. You might circle the spine. My body's asking me to come into my forearms a little bit here, so I'm going to come onto my forearms. I like the blocks under the forearms. You can also use a bolster. It's a little bit softer. It doesn't give you that firm leaning, but when you lift the floor up to meet the body, it creates a little bit more space. Sometimes some of us want a little bit more space for the body. Lifting the floor up to meet us. Go both directions, circling with the spine. And just bringing up the torso. And then we're going to pause, and I want you to find a flat back here. And so what does that mean? Sometimes our ribs are kind of puckering and opening up towards the floor. This is in the rib cage, the upper belly, above the belly button in the rib cage area. This is our third chakra. So this is our place of personal power. So I want you to feel as you exhale, gathering the ribs together and feeling the front ribs gather in and pull up into your body, and seeing if you can allow your gaze to face the floor, reaching energy out your widened sit bones to the wall behind you, pressing the floor away, reaching energy out through the crown of the head and the ears to the wall in front of you. Breathe here. See if you can find a flat back. So a flat back means your head, heart, and pelvis is all in one line. And then I want this movement to come from the shoulder blades. So I want to waken the rhomboids and the serratus. So as you exhale, I want you to feel press and pull the shoulder blades apart. So widen the shoulder blades. And then I want you to squeeze the shoulder blades together, seeing if you can focus on the middle and the bottom tips of the shoulder blades. You might even hold it for a couple rounds of breath to really feel that. And then when you're ready to widen the shoulder blades, let the back just move however it needs to. A lot of the time when you widen, you're going to go into a flexion. And when you squeeze the shoulder blades, you're going to go into a little extension of the spine. But the spine is just moving in reflection of the shoulder blades. widening the shoulder blades, feeling your serratus anterior muscle, going from the first to the eighth, ninth rib, starting in the shoulder blades and wrapping around the side body. And then those rhomboids in between the shoulder blades, feeling them squeezing towards the spine. See if you can locate the middle of the rhomboids and the bottom tips of the rhomboids. One or two more times. Good. And then take a moment to pause in child's pose if that rests for you. So just remember child's pose, depending on if you have your hips quite high in child's pose, then you're going into a mild inversion here. Okay, so if you're feeling, oh, I can't get my hips to sink back towards my heels and bring myself into more of a flat back, then you are slightly inverting yourself. So see if you can get your hips back, lowering them down. Maybe you bring a block under the skull. Some of you may walk your arms to the right or the left and a little side bend. And if being in child's pose doesn't work, then I want you to sit up because I want you to do a little bit of side bending. So for those of you in child's pose and you're walking your arms to one side, lengthening, breathing there. If not, you're seated and you can reach your arms up and over. You can go into a side stretch. So one hand on the floor, fingers pointing away from the hips. Hand can be on the shoulder. Anchoring the sit bone if you're seated, reaching up through the side body, the elbow, the hand, and going over to the other side. Okay, just feeling as you go into the side bends in child's pose. If you're thinking, oh, I feel like I want to come up and do a little seated side stretch as well, feel free to join me. And we're going to just finish this up, and then we're going to go into a couple different variations of downward dog. So I'm going to start with the easiest one for us. Taking a moment to pause and sit up, you've been down. And so the easiest one is standing. So you can get up to standing however you want. And I'm going to show you how to locate where the hands are going to go at the wall. So here, anterior superior iliac spine, okay, crest of the hip, okay, the spine of the pelvis. So you're pretty much going to locate this in the front body. And as you come towards the wall, so I'm going to imagine that my camera is the wall, you're going to locate this as you face the wall, and then you're going to bring your hands forward, and then you're going to put your hands at the wall with the fingers being at the height that they touch. So you end up going to be there. Okay, so I'll just show you. I'm going to just do it on the side here. So just watch for a moment. Some of you may know this. So you're going to come find the wall. Okay, then you're going to step back as the palm of the hand touch the wall nice and wide through the shoulder blades. Okay, head, heart, hips all in one line. So flat back here. So try to push the wall away. Draw the shoulders down into the sockets. Okay, gather the front ribs. Widen through the collarbones. Breathing here, having your feet stacked under your hips. Okay, so I'm going to come out, but you're just going to stay there. Nice. Looking really good. There you go, Christine. Yeah, angling through that, walking back. Good, nice, Michelle. Good. All looking really good. And just stay there for a few breaths. Maybe even take in an SH breath and say, how does it feel to widen the sit bones, reach them back, and feel the ears reach forward and the top of the head, and SH, gather the ribs. When you're ready to come out, you're going to walk the feet towards the wall and slowly let the hands walk up the wall. Okay, pause here. Notice how you feel. Okay, so that's option one. So some of you are gonna want to try that again. So when you're ready, locating the hands, hips, sliding them forward, placing them at the wall. Okay, walking the feet back, finding that flat back, pushing the wall away. Yeah, there you go. Nice. That looks really nice, Michelle. Yeah. Good, Jenny. It's nice and flat. You've got reaching through the ears, reaching back through the sit bones. You decide when you're ready to come up. Good. Walking the feet forward. No rush here. Hands walk up the wall. Good. Check in, do a few shoulder rolls once you get here. You might draw the shoulders up and back. Inhale, exhale, bend the knees. And go the other way. Okay, we're going to do a little release as well through the wrist. And some of you know this. I'm just going to let them shake out. So this is called flick the goo. So imagine you've got a whole bunch of goo on your fingers and you're just flicking it away. Okay, and then we're going to do doggy paws. So we're going to turn palms up. So this is to release your flexor muscles. So you're just going to let the hands, just try to relax them. So this is harder than going into extension, but sometimes we want to move the wrists up and down with the hands, but you just kind of want to let it shake and reverberate. There you go. Much better. Okay, so releasing the flexor muscles. Okay, and then you can turn the palms down. You're going to do the same thing with the extensor muscles. So just let them shake and flop. So just feel the reverberation. Nice. And then you might just open and close the palm of the hand. Soft fist, open palm. Okay, so if you have any questions around any of the variations, just allow them to be in the mind and we'll talk about this when we come back, and then just let the whole body shake out again. Okay, so this might be where you decide, oh, I want to try that one again, and then you rest and you pause. Okay, and some of you might just want to watch from this point. So this is when your chair is going to come in. So the next variation is having a chair. I'm just going to make sure that I'm just going to adjust so that you can see me really well. So at any time, if you feel having a block in between the thighs is more supportive, feel free to do that. So you're going to, so this is going to be an inversion. So with the chair, I'll turn it around just for some of you can play with the chair. You might use, instead of the wall, the chair. Okay, pressing on the heel of the hand, on the top of your chair, coming down, gathering the ribs in, lengthening forward and back. Okay, the other option is to have the forearms here, cradling the top of the chair, forehead resting on this, finding the flat back. Okay, so sometimes we don't have access to a wall, so we can do that last variation with the chair. Just explore that for a few breaths. I'm just going to shift my chair around. And you come up when you're ready. So always going in and exiting very slowly from inversions. Just inhale, exhale, locate, feel your feet. Okay, inhale, exhale. We're going to allow the pelvis to fold us forward. So if you're not going into deeper inversions of releasing the head below the heart, then you're just going to stay in these softer ones. Okay, so you're going to come down, you're going to let the pelvis tilt forward. It's going to shift back a little bit of weight onto the heels. And then you're going to allow your hands to come down so you can grab the sides of the chair. I like to let my thumb and my index finger open and just connect to the back of the chair, around the arms, the back of it. You might not have an opening there. You can hold the side of the chair and just stepping back to feel this inversion of lowering down, still trying to find the flat back. So finding downward dog with a chair. And then you can walk forward, coming up, and using the back of the chair if you need to. Hey, if you're feeling lightheaded in any way, just know that you can pump your thighs, pump your quad muscles, and just let them engage and soften. This is going to help that venous return to bring the blood back up towards the heart. And because we're on a low pressure system, sometimes activating the muscles is the way that we can notice that we're not feeling too low in our blood pressure. Okay, option is you can have a block here. Now, if you have any neck concerns, just notice when you put your forehead, if you're using the block for any variation, it's more of allowing the block to rest on your forehead closer to your hairline rather than closer to your eyebrows. And that's going to keep your back of your neck long. If you allow your forehead to rest more closer to the eyebrows, you're going to compress the back of the neck and open the throat. Okay, so when you're ready, you're going to exhale, coming down, leading with the pelvis, putting the hands once again on the chair, leaning back, and then seeing, does the forehead want to support on the block, maybe finding the middle and then tilting the head a little bit towards hairline and feeling, is the back of my neck and my throat equally open here? Widen the collarbones. Breathe. Okay, I'm just going to come out just to support you. Whenever you're ready, you're just starting to feel your feet walking and forward. Yeah, nice. Good. Yes, there you go. And then pausing there and noticing how you feel. So once again, that might be the extent of your inversions for today. If you do feel, I just want to sit and watch, then feel free to do that. We are going to come down. If you want to go into a forward fold, you can, just leading with the pelvis. As you inhale, exhale, find feet. Feel that lifting up, that gathering of the inner thighs, even though you don't have the block. Imagine that you're pulling energy up into the pelvis. So sometimes lifting the pubic bone, widening the sit bones. Okay, that'll bring a little aligning of the femur, the thigh bones for you. Some of you might want to inhale. As you exhale, the pelvis starts to lead the movement. So the pelvis starts to tilt back and up and forward. The weight shifts into the heels. Now remember, if you don't want to come all the way down, you can come into a flat back. Head, heart, hips all in one line. We're reaching energy out the top of your head, back out the sit bones. And some of you will bend the knees a little bit more and let the spine roll down. Let the head go. So we know as we come into inversions, the baroreceptors in the carotid sinus in the side of the neck, and then also in the aortic arch of the heart, are sensing the increase of pressure. And so what they do is they signal the nervous system to go more into the parasympathetic, to calm down. And then you can decide here as you bend the knees, the hands come flat on the floor. You might go, I want to just try stepping back into downward dog. Okay, so have the hands the width of the mat, and you can step back right foot, left foot into downward dog. If you don't, you might just step back a little bit and then bend the knees and come down to the floor. If you are in downward dog, I want you to push the floor away. Index, thumb, all the fingers. Okay, draw the shoulders down to the bottom of the socket. And you might feel, oh, there's a little cue. Without even turning your hands, you can imagine that you're turning the lids of the jar outward, which will gather your inner elbows towards one another. You'll feel your shoulder blades widen. Tendency in downward dog is to overactivate the rhomboid muscles. So just bringing in the serratus can walk it out a little bit. Pausing in child's pose again. You might even just pause and seated. Okay, all of these are preparing us for going into a little bit more of a deeper variation of feeling Pinchamayurasana, so elbow balance. So last option of downward dog is you can feel the blocks or the books on the floor, and you can hold the blocks or the books. And we're going to go into this from the floor, and you're going to tuck your toes under, and you want to just let the head go. Okay, and bring the hands a little bit farther forward so they're not directly under the shoulders. And so I'm just going to give a little demo. You can watch or you can flow up with me. So you're going to inhale, you're going to just feel your weight shift into your hands, press the flow away, widen the shoulder blades. Okay, then you're going to sink as you press the hands into the floor, sink the weight into your hips and your feet. Press the feet and the hands into the floor. Let the pelvis reach up towards the ceiling. Okay, knees can be as bent as you need to. You're pushing into the blocks. Blocks are pressing into the floor, drawing the shoulders down to the bottom of the socket. So because we're inverted, they're having to slide up towards the ceiling. So we're flipping our perspective up, slide down. So sometimes when you hear a cue and you don't understand it, it's okay, it will come in time. You can pause. Another variation here is you can just even kind of stay here and just push the hands into the floor and the feet and just let the knees hover off the floor and then just come down. It's another way to go in. Go back into your doggy pause, palms down, palms up, flicking the goo. Good, just checking in. How are we all doing? You guys okay? Thumbs up, okay? Good. Yeah, okay, great. So next one we're gonna do, and you can even do this. I'm gonna show an easy version on the chair, and I'm first gonna get us all supported here. So you're gonna put the strap, I'm gonna come up a little bit closer because some of these are very technical. You're gonna find the elbow. You're gonna come up to about 1 to 1.5 inches above the elbows, and you wanna lean out into the strap. And so for me, mine's a little bit wide. So I just wanna tighten mine a tiny bit. Okay, so the tail of the strap is hanging down. So you want to be able to feel as your palms are facing one another. If you lean out into the strap, you're like, okay, yeah, that feels good. I feel supported. I can feel wide across my collarbones. I can feel my arms having a little resistance of the strap there to create spaciousness. Then you're going to come down onto the floor. And I'm just going to pull my chair onto my mat just so it's not flipping around. I've got hardwood floors here. Okay, so you're going to have your knees under your hips. You're going to hold the chair. Then you're going to come down. You're going to drop your elbows on the chair. Sorry, I forgot one thing. You're going to have a block in between your hands. So a chip foam block is a really good spaciousness. Palms of the hands are holding it. You're going to come down. You're going to lean out into the strap. Walk your knees back. See if you can find a flat back and lean out into the strap. Press the hands into the block here. Lengthen through your triceps. And your forehead, if you have the strap in the right place, will rest on your strap. And so for me, I noticed my strap could be a little bit tighter, so I'm just gonna tighten mine. It's a really good tricep release and side rib cage. And that's better. Gather the ribs in. So remember your flat back that we've been working on. Relax the shoulders down into the bottom of the socket. Breathe here. Okay, so this is a nice variation. You can do this standing on a tabletop, so on your counter at home, on the top of a desk, on the top of a table. So we're just using a chair because we have it. It's a great way to open yourself up. So if this is challenging, then going up into maybe Pinchamayurasana is a little bit more going to be more challenging. So that might be where you want to stay. So you can come out when you're ready. And then you can come in and feel the block on the floor if you want. So this is going to be more of an inversion. And the block is on the floor in between your forearms and your wrists. You can have the palms facing down. Sometimes, because the palms facing down, internally rotate the shoulders. If you find, oh, I need more openness, it's going to be a little challenging to hold my block, you can have the palms facing up and holding the block. Okay, so I still have the strap. I'm going to go palms down. Remember, when you're here, you have the inner elbow, the condyle of the elbow, the inner side and the outer side. So you want to be able to feel both of those touch the floor. Allow the forearms to squeeze the block. Lean into the inner and outer condyle of your elbow. Relax the head. Feel your triceps leaning out into the strap. And you might even just stay here. Okay, this might be enough. If you feel okay, you can come up into dolphins. You can press the feet into the floor, lifting up. And the strap will be around the forehead. Keep reaching the sit bones up, gathering the ribs, leaning out into the strap. Beautiful. And when you're ready, you can relax down. We're not going to do too many of those. Just kind of feeling Pinchamayurasana. My feeling is that's probably enough in that one. And we're going to end just playing with some variations with going into handstand. So first one to feel handstand is when you come up. If you don't want to stand up, you don't have to, but standing up and feeling handstand, you can do it with the wall. You can have your back. I've got the block in between the thighs, reaching the arms up, palms face forward, gather the ribs down, and then allow the palms of the hands. I want to show my upper body to be reaching forward first and then going into a flexion, like you're going to push the wall, the ceiling away. Gather the ribs down. Relax the shoulders down into the bottom of the socket. So just going up into handstand from Tadasana. So this is your handstand. If you feel all the toes, you squeeze the block. You notice the back of the heel, the inner heel, the outer heel. Lifting the block up towards the belly button, the lower belly draws in, the sit bones widen. Breathe. Lengthen up. At any time, if the wrists feel like it's too much, just reach up through the fingers. Relax the shoulders down into the socket. Good, and then release down, shake it out. So that's a nice version of handstand, which makes it really empowering, but noticing that we're standing, The other variation is a lying down one, very similar to that one. And you can switch your mat, you can watch for a moment. I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to put a block in between my legs. My hands are now pushing into the wall. So I'm finding a nice placement. I've got a little lip on my wall here, so I'm just putting the tip of my fingers just on my little baseboard here. So it's just above. And then I'm pushing the wall away, starting with the knees bent, lengthening through the sit bones, lengthening as you widen through that area of the back body first. And feel the block squeezing, lifting up the pubic bone, and then slowly lengthening through the legs and having the heels reaching, inner heel, outer heel, back of the heel, palms of the hands pressing into the wall. Reaching a little energy out the top of the head, the tip of the ears. Now you should be able to breathe easily here. And then when you're going to come out, you're just going to reverse that. So you're going to bend the knees. And you relax the arms. Pause. Notice how you feel. And I just want you to try that one more time on your own. Okay, so bringing your arms up, inhale, exhale. All that work that we did in bridge, right, with the arms up and over, this is what's preparing us. We're opening the side body. So as we came up and over and you're pressing the hands into the wall, okay, that move is allowing us to feel the spaciousness. We also did the work with the block on the chair. Okay, and then you're squeezing the block, widening the sit bones, feeling like you're pulling the block up towards the pelvic floor or lifting the pubic bone. Slowly the legs will lengthen, just watching here. Yeah, good. Reaching through the heels. When you reach through the heels, myofascially, so myo means muscles and fascially, you're connecting to your whole back line of your body. So anytime you reach through the inner heel, the back of the heel, the outer heel, you're tugging on that whole back line to lengthen. When you press your toes and reach through your toes, okay, you're tugging and lengthening through the front line. And so that starts to feel an openness through front and back body, which is going to even left to right. You want to be able to breathe easily, feel energy up the crown of the head and the ears. Good. Relax when you're ready. Just take a moment to pause there. Okay, the last one that we're going to go into before we rest is, and some of you are just going to watch, is maybe some of you want to try a pike variation of the handstand. And then some of you, if you want, can kick up into it. So to judge how far you're going to be away from the wall, I've just turned my mat now, so I'm vertical. Short end of my mat is to the wall. Okay, and I've got my buttocks, the back of my pelvis touching the wall on my back. My spine is on the wall as well. So I'm in Dandasana. And then I'm taking a chip foam block. I'm just using it as a marker to mark where my heels are. So the one edge of the block is marking where my heels are. So that's kind of giving me a distance. Oh, this is how far I need to be away from the wall. And then you can swing around. You can always watch to start. I always like to put my heel of my hand towards where the front of the block was, hands nice and wide. Toes tucked under and the feet really close to the wall. Okay, so you're just going to relax your head. So you can just watch. Inhale, exhale. Feel the hands. Index and thumb a little bit more. Relax the shoulders to the bottom of the socket. Feel that widening. Notice if you need to gather the bottom tips of the shoulder blades a tiny bit. For me, I do, especially on my left side. Still keeping that spaciousness. I push the floor away. I reach the hips up. And this might be just where you want to be. Okay, my heels are at the wall. If you decide, oh, I do want to come in, and you take one foot up, press it into the wall, take the other foot up. You're in a flat back now. Breathing here. pushing the floor away and coming back down and resting. Okay, I'll walk you through it. You might just watch. Okay, so checking in. Okay, do the Dandasana, sitting with your back against the wall, your feet forward, marking where your feet are. That's roughly where the heel of the hand is going to be. So give yourself enough space. For me, I've got my legs are longer than my torso. So I notice that, I'm always trying to give myself more space than not. When you're ready, the heel of the hand can be roughly in line with the top edge of that block. Nice wide hands now. Just exhale. Land here. Remember, you don't even have to do anything. You can just watch. Okay, feel the index and the thumb pressing into the floor. Noticing if this is for you. If so, you're feeling the hands and the feet press into the floor, the pelvis lift up, reach towards the wall behind you. Your heels will start to come towards the wall. Then you just pause there. Draw the shoulders up into the sockets because you're inverted, so the cues are a little bit different. Keep the collarbones wide. Notice if you need to tug the bottom tips of those shoulder blades together a little bit towards the spine. And then see, does one foot want to walk up the wall? Yeah, great. That looks really nice. And the other foot, nice pike position. Beautiful. Looks really good. You stay there for as long as you want. No rush. Come down. Notice if you need a little release here. Your doggy paws, palms down, palms up, flicking the goo, opening and closing palm of the hand. Okay, and some of you might go, oh, yeah, I feel good. I feel that's complete. Some of you might go, ooh, I want to try that pike position again. Okay, and only if this is in your practice do you play with kicking up. Okay, you want to just make sure that nothing is in your way. You're starting from downward dog. Okay, and there's safety here. If you're feeling uncertain in any way, you don't go up into it. And you can just practice stepping one foot forward, leaning into the hands, finding that support, and then just lifting one leg and noticing, here's my kicking leg that's up in the air. Here's my one that's pushing off the floor. And you can just start doing little jumps. Okay, and if you feel, I can go up a little bit higher, then you can go all the way up. Okay. I'm not going to go too far up today because my body's saying no. So that's about my extent today. But if you want to kick up into a full handstand, feel free. The pike variation feels really stable and secure for me. So that's about as far as I'm going to go. Good. Yeah, there you go. Good, Christine. Nice. And just play with that donkey kick. It's great. You can press down through the feet and just let yourself jump up and down and up and down. And then you rest. Good. Nice work. Yes. Just watching some of you that are still going up. Yeah, some of you trying with the 2 feet. Great. A little bit harder to jump with 2 feet. Those of you that have completed and you want to pause, you can do this release seated, or you can lie down on your back and do it. Okay, you don't have to come out of your inversion at any time. So just doing something for those of us that are complete, you're going to reach out through your fingers and your thumb to the sides of the room. Good. Just relax your shoulders. So just creating some space in the shoulder joint right now. So as we reach out, we're just creating some spaciousness. Feel your sit bones, those ischial tuberosities press into the floor, lifting the pubic bone, lifting energy up the crown of the head. Then we're going to start to inhale, exhale, bring our arms forward, cross the right arm over the left. First, just give ourselves a hug. You can let your hands touch your shoulder blades and just widen them, spread them, widen your collarbones. For me, I have a little instinctual awareness here that I like to circle the torso a little bit. You want to lead with your pelvis here if you do. You can just be still. My body likes to go in both directions, but you do what supports you. Okay, when you're ready, we're going to take it into Garudasana arms. So you're going to bring the back of the forearms towards one another. Lift the elbows away from the chest. Reach a little bit of energy out your triceps and your elbows away from you. Feel your shoulders soften, and some of you, the back of the forearms will start to come to each other. Some of you can wrap your arms around and go into the full twist. Just keep your shoulders drawing down into the bottom of the socket. Keep energy lifting up the top of the head and the ears. Most importantly, breathe. If you so choose, my legs are in a cross-legged position. You can be in a straight leg too. If you choose, you can come forward a little bit. Leading with your pelvis. Keep widening the shoulder blades. Feeling the back of the neck widen, and maybe the back of the neck reach up towards the ceiling. And when you're ready, pressing the pelvis into the floor, lifting up through the lower belly, letting the spine unfold, unraveling the arms. Let the forearms come down, let them sweep across one another. Inhale out to the side, exhale, turn the palms up. Inhale, reach the arms up, palms touch, exhale to heart. Good, you're going to release the arms. If you're cross-legged, you're going to switch your legs and you're going to shake them up. And then you're going to cross your legs so that your other leg is in front. Notice if you need a little bit of support. Take a moment to exhale and land. Let the palms face forward. Just feel this opening on the chest. See if your back of your fingers can come towards the floor. Open palm. Remember, the softer the palm of the hand is, the more you're going to feel spaciousness up through the arm into the torso. You're going to inhale, bring the arms up. Exhale, turn the palms down. Reach the fingers to the opposite wall. See if you can feel the fingers reach all the way through the arms, the elbows, into the shoulders, but also come into the shoulder blades and into the front of your chest. You feel your sternum. See if you can open that front heart. Sometimes I think of the front of the chest like a vest, and you open the vest. Beautiful. Now you're going to take your opposite arm as you inhale, exhale, cross it over and bring it on top. For me, that's my left. You're going to hold your shoulder blades. You might even widen them, widen your collarbone. Check if you just want to pause and breathe here. Maybe body circles again. Maybe there's just stillness. And moving up into eagle arms when you're ready. So allowing the elbows to lift up a little bit as the back of the forearms come towards one another. Widen your collarbones. And then draw the shoulders down to the base of the socket. Breathe here. If you've lifted up the elbows too high and you feel a lot of strain across the front of the chest, just drop them a little bit. Okay, you're choosing, do I want to come forward, just releasing hips and shoulders at the same time. Feel the breath. Widen the back of the neck, reach energy out the ears and the top of the head. Sit bones back, throat spacious. And you decide how long you want to be here. Coming out, forearms down, sliding across one another, reaching the arms out. Inhale, exhale, turn the palms up. Inhale, reach them up. Exhale, palms touch. Feeling that energy come down through the body, and then just feeling your palms come forward, just noticing yourself as you are here. So options. Some of you are just going to lie down on the floor, okay, and feel, do I need anything to help release my practice and tune into my body? Some of you are going to feel, I really want to put my legs up the wall. If you do, you can have the hips as close as you can towards the wall, and you want to choose the one side of your mat that your hips are closest to. And as you lean back, you're going to lean straight back. And then you can turn around and bring the legs up. That'll keep your pelvis as close as you can towards the wall. So sometimes if we lean back and we start turning at the same time, it pulls our pelvis away. So just try leaning all the way back to the floor and then turning and seeing, do my legs want to be up the wall? Sometimes they want to be in butterfly or Uttanasana. Right? And some of you might want to have your legs on a chair. Okay? If you have a couch, you can have your legs on a couch, calves, thighs. Okay, option here is I'm going to show you another variation later on today, but some of you might feel that you take the strap, you put a block in between the legs and a strap around the thighs, you squeeze that, and then you tug, and you release the legs into the strap with the legs up the wall. And this will allow the legs to find a place of resting without having to hold themselves up. Arms can come out to the side, palms up. We're going to do a wrap with a blanket later on today. But I thought I'd just first start off by showing the variation with the strap and the block. And as you come down into your place, whenever that is, whenever you've moved through whatever you need to, you're just coming into stillness and integration. Remember, if legs up the wall doesn't feel good, you can have legs on the chair, which softens that inversion. You can put some weight on your body or a blanket. Just once again, locating your body in space. Check in if your eyes want to close or if they want to stay open and soften. Feel the imprint of your body if you're using the wall, the chair, the floor. Just feeling into your body. How am I feeling at this moment? So you feel the imprint of your body on the floor. We notice ourselves proprioceptively in the space. And then when you come in and you feel, if it feels right to come in, to notice your inside space. How do you feel interoceptively? How do you feel inside the body, the mind? Let the breath breathe you and just rest, integrate. There's a piece called Inner Space that I'm just going to share with you, and then we're going to rest in a couple minutes of silence. The earth speaks to us. Can you hear her? Her murmur is all around, and the crackle of the pine cones to the whistle of the wind. No need to grasp, hold, or fear the darkness. We are softly being guided home to our inner space. Our souls await patiently for the veils to thin, so we see the magnificent presence of our own light. Our souls await patiently for the veils to thin, so we see the magnificent presence of our own light. I'm going to give some silence here. You gently hear the sound of my voice floating back into your awareness, feeling the outline of your body on the floor, and the feeling of your breath through inhalation and exhalation, dropping back into your awareness. Just mindfully watching the presence of the breath. You might feel a few breaths out the mouth. Thank yourself for listening to your body and attending to your needs today. It is 10:30 and Pacific Standard Time, so it's half past the hour, depending on your time zone. And we're going to take a 20-minute break. So we're going to come back to join together at 10 minutes to the hour. No need to come out of your pose. You can stay where you are. Feel deep gratitude for sharing and exploring with you. And just allow yourself to take the time that you need here. Okay, if you have any comments or anything that you want to share or anything that you want to send to me in a private chat, do so. Any questions or comments, you can write them down, and when we come back together, we can explore.